So that's right, Outriders is about to change forever. We're going to be talking about this post right here. It's an official post we'll go over in just a moment and exactly what it means for the future of the game. And of course, the franchise. Plus, we're going to be talking about this topic right here. Outriders needs in-game DLC, not more story content. So we do know it is confirmed that people can fly if they do make expansions, that they would pursue big story DLC expansions. And it seems like a lot of the community want to see more end-game content because expeditions can be really addicting and they want that expand upon. Now, also, you guys have some excellent ideas and requests that we're going to be talking about. How likely will People Can Fly add these additions into the game? Let's take a look. So hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's dive in, shall we? First of all, let's talk about the official Outriders post right here. It says, us typing up the big Reddit dev news update to be published tomorrow. As you can see here, Kermit getting busy. It says, what about, we hear you say? Yes, the Reddit news update will probably cover that too. Also, typewriters because of the anomaly and stuff. I love their humor, I have to say. But yes, they're working on the big news update for us. It's going to include a bunch of details as to what's going to be changing with the game. And that update is going to be published officially tomorrow. You know, they only rumored a generic time frame that it would be landing on Thursday, but guess what, everyone? It is officially happening. So we will have tons of news tomorrow on Thursday. So come back here. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you get your Outriders news. Now, what could we be seeing changed with this game going forward more immediately? Of course, we have the known issues thread right here, which has been updated recently. So on all platforms, they are looking into stuck at signing in loop, stuck at 80% loading, known crossplay disconnects between PC and console, a bad day crash when receiving quest rewards, Hell's Ranger gear up here to reduce its stats while leveling up, issues with the UI HUD disappearing, inventory and accolade wipe issues, key items can occasionally fall through the map, Hell's Rangers inaccessible at stash tab is locked combat doors, crash during the onslaught quest. And for PC, a lot of stuff here, access violation crash on launch, known crossplay disconnects, of course, and a bunch of other things going on that they are looking to. And you know what? This stuff would most obviously be covered in this brand new blog post, and it's something that hopefully we see fixes for very soon. Now, for the crossplay stuff, they are making that their top priority once again, and I would imagine that would be included in this next patch, of course, that's coming up. So that's exciting. Everyone is constantly asking about what is going on with crossplay between PC and the consoles. I have friends that are stuck on console or friends that are stuck on PC, and I really want to play with them. That was the plan from the beginning. So yes, hopefully this blog post goes over that in great detail. It seems like that's going to be the case. And again, yeah, hopefully we have that fixed and we can enjoy crossplay as intended. Now, let's get into this discussion right here. This is absolutely fascinating one right here. It says, Outriders needs in-game DLC, not more story content. Investing any more time and resources on story content for Outriders seems extraordinarily misguided, as the article headlines right there. Let me know your assessment on this one in the comments below. Now, of course, I'm on expeditions, as you guys can see clearly here by the footage, and I am absolutely freaking addicted to them right now. But also on the flip side, I really did enjoy the story. So, you know, this article goes on to talk about how the in-game DLC would be most appropriate because it would be able to expand on legendary weapons and that sort of thing. But it makes me wonder also if we could perhaps see some sort of merging between like a story DLC and something that feels very much like in-game content, if you will. Let me know if that's something that would interest you. But let's dive into this article a little bit more. So yeah, it goes on to say the following. Outriders has a fantastic in-game. The core activity Expeditions combines elements of Destiny's Nightfall Strikes with Diablo's Greater Rifts for bite-sized activities that offer a great way to test out your builds and continue earning power through gear drops. Unfortunately, you have to play the entire 26-hour campaign to reach max level and start farming for meaningful gear. Honestly, I don't find that too much of a complaint because I enjoyed all the blues and the purples that I was getting through the story anyway, and it was exciting getting to the expeditions. All right, it says this is significantly longer leveling process than most ARPGs. Instead of opening your skill tree and letting you experiment with builds, Outriders keeps passing you through the revolving door of disposable gear throughout the entire campaign. There's no use customizing your loadout when everything you equip will almost certainly be replaced by something stronger within a few minutes. It's a lot of fun to tinker with your mods and min-max your loadout for the highest priority stats, but you don't get a chance to engage with those systems at all until the game is pretty much over. But it's not, that's the thing. For me, it's not. You have the expeditions, and there's like 15 handcrafted levels that you get. And of course, I personally want to see this system expand upon. And I think they can pull off some sort of story with them, perhaps. Again, post a comment down below. What would you like to see for post-launch content? How do you think it should be handled? Now, it says this, by the time you finish the campaign, there really isn't that much left to do. The expeditions offer 5 additional item levels beyond 45 you get from World Tier 15 and reaching level 30, but once you push your challenge tier to 15 and complete the Eye of the Storm expedition, all that's left to do is farm CT15 missions for best in slot gear. There's no pinnacle activity that lets you push your level 50 gear to the max. Expeditions are a lot of fun, but Outriders in-game doesn't offer the kind of replayability one might expect from an ARPG. And that's why it's so disconcerting to hear that People Can Fly intends to develop big campaign-focused expansions. What the game really needs is a longer tail with a more robust in-game. The game's lengthy campaign is a barrier to what little in-game exists, and by the time you get there, there's a good chance you'll be too fatigued from the leveling process and grim, dark campaign to even find the energy for in-game grinding. Which again, this is subjective. I'm absolutely excited, to be in the in-game, of course, and experiment. And then also you have to consider that this game is highly replayable, that there's all the different classes as well. Now, they go on to say this, and let me know if you agree with this or disagree with this. It says, Outriders, biggest flaw is its overcommitment to the campaign. The last thing it needs is another one. Outriders didn't need to be a live service game to deliver a strong in-game experience, because expansion packs could fill out the grind with new expeditions, more gear, a higher level cap, and even new activities. While I expect a story expansion would also deliver more gear and a higher level cap, it feels like People Can Fly is intent on doubling down on the worst parts of Outriders than building up the best. Wow, shots fired right there. Did you guys enjoy the story? Do you think it was too long-winded? Do you think the in-game should have been a lot longer than what we were offered with the story? Sound off. But, in some ways, it's interesting the points that were brought up in the article. And I have to say, once again, with the story that they are planning for post-launch DLC, if they are going to take that direction, again, nothing has been confirmed, but that's their indication. I think they need to tie it into perhaps some in-game type content. They got to be very careful going forward with what they do with post-launch content. Now, check this out. Let's talk about Expeditions a little further. We've got Not a Real Developer who says, anyone else thinks the time-based reward system should be removed? And of course, he's talking about Expeditions. He says, it promotes the use of the same glass cannon builds. Players that use tanks, support, or debuff buff builds are getting kicked from parties. The build diversity shrinks. On top of that, DPS builds can already clear the most expeditions per time anyway, which is a reward by itself. In the very early alpha days of another looter shooter around 7 years ago, it was the same. It promotes a very toxic community and focuses on the same play styles. The devs changed it very quickly, though. We have some responses here. He says, I'll admit I kind of thought about the same about some of the in-game problems of Genshin Impact has with the time gating when I first experienced Expeditions and Outriders. There are other metrics they could use, in my opinion. Yeah, there are other ways they could judge players, with a tier system for sure. So do you guys think the time limit should be adjusted? Do you think there should be different types of metrics that you can go in and pick and choose? I think that would be really neat if they could offer something like that. All right, so let's keep going. We're going to be talking about snipers. They are so freaking annoying in this game. Check out this post. It's one of the most upvoted posts right now. Radical Knight says this: sniper tracking is busted and dumb, as 1,100 upvotes. And, you know, I partially do agree. You can get away from snipers by rolling out of cover. That's one way I do it, but sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes they just nail in on you, you know, big time, and they never miss, really. So it can be definitely a pain in the butt dealing with snipers. Now, we have this post here, a proposal. No nerf requests, do buff requests instead. There's no PvP in this game. There's no reason to bring one class or power down to match others. Let's bring other classes or powers up instead. If gameplay becomes an issue, i.e. too easy, then increase mob difficulty as well. Just a thought. Tons of agreement right here from the community that you guys do not want to see nerfs going forward, that you would like to see buffs instead. And you know what? I totally agree. Bring those power levels up to match what is happening with things like twisted rounds and that sort of stuff, because those are crazy. So yeah, that's what I personally think they should do, and honestly, I would not be surprised if they have some sort of statement tomorrow in their blog post about what they are doing with adjusting difficulties and stuff like that. All right, so this is an interesting topic right here. Being constantly knocked down even though you dodge mechanic is starting to get really aggravating. He says, I can understand being frozen silence, but the roll mechanic needs to actually avoid mechanics if you read into them correctly. Currently, there are so many mobs and expeditions that rolling literally does nothing. You get hit by everything, and everything seems to knock you down. Also, the dash mod doesn't allow you to pass through enemies as intended. Is this just me? So, you know, my opinion is I do agree to an extent, but, you know, to feed off of this discussion here, we have a petition for Devastator's Golem ability to become immune to stagger effects. So I think it's more of a stagger thing that is bothering people, constantly being hit down, especially on higher difficulties. And it would be cool to see more abilities or powers dedicated to limiting those stagger effects, because I think in turn that would limit frustrations for sure. Now, I couldn't agree more with this post, so I had to highlight it. This one says, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Game is crazy underrated. This is the first game I can remember where I passionately disagree with the popular negative opinions of reviewers and content creators. My expectations were so low because of all the bad takes, and I'm so glad I took a chance on this game because I've been blown away. Examples, popular opinion. Graphics are okay, nothing mind-blowing. Me, oh my god, these vistas are amazing. The level of environmental detail is crazy. Character animations look so natural in cutscenes. Exactly, I totally agree. Like, they have so many amazing shots in the game. Only thing is, for me, with the actual graphics, is the lighting engine needs to be improved. That's just my assessment. Now, popular opinion, bad writing, generic plot, cringe voice acting. Me, edge of my seat invested in these characters and their histories, cool lore, crazy plot twists, unexpected deaths, believable performances. Right here for me. This is one right here. Let me know if you guys agree. Now, it says popular opinion, technical mess, bad performance, underbaked. Me, on PC, how the F am I getting a solid 120 frames per second on Ultra? You know what? It's very well optimized overall. This popular opinion, game is repetitive, poor enemy variety, levels are just corridors. I heard this one and I just did not get it. He says, every encounter feels like a strategic puzzle, insane biome diversity, amazing enemy variety AI. This post right here is exactly how I feel. He does wrap it up by saying the game isn't perfect, it has its flaws, and the server issues were a pain in the first few days, but it deserves so much more praise than it's getting. And you know what? I do think that the game is kind of going viral by word of mouth, so I'm not too worried about it doing well. You know, I feel like people power through opinions anymore. This day and age, you hear so many opinions floating around, but people stick to their own opinion that, yeah, they are enjoying this game. They don't give a hell what other people are saying whatsoever, and I myself am that way right now. I'm enjoying it despite the haters. Of course, don't get me wrong, this game does have its problems. You know, the launch issues were ridiculous, but I feel like they have done an excellent job listening to fan feedback and getting in there and fixing the problems. All right, you know what time it is. It's time for your top comments. Leave a comment down below. it could end up right here in a future video. Let's do this. This is my most recent video. It says new official update from Square Enix. Remember this date, which now it is confirmed 100% going to be tomorrow, Thursday. Let's see what you guys have to say. Ken says, I really want a compass on the minimap. I hate opening the map to try and figure out which direction I'm running. Joel says this, does anybody else find it hilarious?
Why, hello there.
I have no idea. Oh, we have
It's
audio
Evelyn.
with the actual game. My bad. It says, does anyone else find it hilarious that we have no idea of where we are on their maps and their logo is a compass? So yeah, a lot of people complaining about, you know, the maps, the compass, the overall, you know, waypoints and how they work, and I totally agree. Now, Caleb says, wait, I wasn't the only person crashing randomly because I kept crashing at the same time 3 times in a row. JS says, been pleasantly surprised with Outriders, really enjoying it, and the story is actually pretty neat. Digital Death says, I turned off crossplay and have mine to open and have only had one person ever pop into my game on launch day for about 30 seconds. Never seen anyone else since. So that could actually indicate a matchmaking issue, and that's something that they have confirmed that they are actually looking into. Now remember, also check out my streams in the description below. Join my Discord. Would love to have you guys tune in. We have a blast in the Discord and the streams and all that good stuff. So definitely drop by. I've seen a couple of you dropping by more and more as I continue to stream the game. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you tomorrow, Thursday, when the news drops. Take care.